says, "Hey, Brock. So I've been in a great relationship with this guy for 5 months. Since meeting, we have been inseparable. We have hung out every weekend, and now we spend almost every weeknight together too. Though things have been moving fast, I haven't been freaked out because everything has felt so natural and comfortable. Well, now we just hit our first speed bump. I was out with a girlfriend on Friday. I was texting my boyfriend throughout the night. I let him know that I was about to get into an Uber to go home. My phone went dead in the Uber, and after getting home, I went right to bed, since I had a good bit to drink. The next day, my phone was riddled with missed texts and calls that went until 5 a.m. My boyfriend was furious with me, saying what I did was not cool. He said he was doing everything he could to try to track me down. He said that I need to start sharing my location with him so that this never happens again. This just feels like a step too far and too controlling. Our week has been filled with fights, but I'm not backing down. Is this something worth throwing away a great relationship over?" And that was sent in by Anonymous.
All right.
It's a good one.
It is a good one. No, Anonymous, thank you so much for writing this in. I think one of the most common questions I get, or at least concerns in a relationship from women is my boyfriend being too controlling? Mm-hmm. I think that's kind of the crux of this whole thing, is him being too controlling worth throwing the relationship away? First of all, I don't think he's being too controlling.
Sure.
Newsflash.
Okay.
Protective instincts have no limits. Men are protectors, and if he is the person who's supposed to be protecting you, don't tell him how to do it. Don't do that. Okay. Yeah, I know. Gino's like, interesting.
It's like ears are perking up.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you two have been together for 5 months, seeing each other routinely, and you have a routine, you're seeing each other, you said every night now.
Yeah.
When a routine gets broken, when communication gets broken, that triggers every type of protection protocol in a man if he cares about you. To get mad at him for having those protective instincts is going to be one of the biggest mistakes you or other women have. Now, what I will talk about when we get back from the music and commercial break is what is a suitable level of control to have in your relationship.
Right.
From the female perspective, your man is going to do what he thinks is necessary to protect his greatest asset, and that is you. If you want him to be in the role of protector, don't tell him how to do it. That is not something that you should be doing. That is something that is instinctual to him, and when something violates the patterns of what he feels is safe, he has every right to respond. Now, how he responds is what we're going to talk about, because I think a lot of women will be like, no, he can't just do whatever he wants. I get it. He can't do whatever he wants, but to tell him or to punish him for having a reaction is no bueno. Now, what he's trying to do is he's just trying to be prepared. He wants to have your location in case this happens again, not to track you, in case your phone dies again. That, by the way, is a big no-no. If it's nighttime, if you've been out with the girls and your phone dies, be ready. Me as a guy, if that happened with my wife, I'd be very upset. It's like, I have to be able to help you in case something happens, because when I took the vow to marry you, or, and this is guys, maybe not even in the married stage, when we take the vow to protect you and you make it difficult for us, we're going to get mad at you for making our job more difficult. Show some empathy in the fact that if something happens, we are the ones that have to respond. We have to go pick you up. We have to go to respond to the side of the road if you have a flat tire. It is our job usually to respond to emergency situations. If something happens, you are going to call him, most likely. And when you make it difficult for him to do his protective duties, he's going to say something. He's going to be upset, and rightly so. Now, here's the thing is he overreaching by asking to have your location? It depends on if you are both willing to have each other's location and for safety reasons. And that's what this sounds like. It doesn't sound like he is not trusting you. That's not what this sounds like. It doesn't sound like he thinks like, hey, my phone died, and has this idea that maybe you went and snuck off with some ex or anything like that. This is a safety thing, and I think he has every right to request that. And Anonymous, let him do his job. Let him protect you. It doesn't sound like he's infringing on your freedoms by any means. I mean, he's not, he's not going through your phone or things like that. I think that sharing your location, if you've done something like this, is a very wise move. If this happened in my relationship, I'd probably want something to ensure that if it happens again, that my wife doesn't just disappear. That stuff happens, ladies.
Right.
Bad things happen.
Of course. Well, that was one thing that kind of struck me when I read it. And I was like, well, I would be upset too if I was the boyfriend.
Sure.
Only because all of a sudden, all he knew is I got into an Uber.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And that was lights out.
And that was lights out.
As far as he knows.
As far as he knew. And there's so many stories. Like you said, it's a dangerous world out there. So I would have expected, even if the phone died, she plugs it in. And granted, she said she had a little bit of drink. I understand.
Sure.
Sometimes you doze off, whatever the case. But eventually reaching out to him and telling him what's going on. So I understood his furiousness. Now, I guess the idea is after 5 months, is that pushing that boundary. Now, say this didn't happen. How about that? How about say this scenario didn't happen, and then he's still asking that question? Maybe there's boyfriends out there or girlfriends out there that want their person's location, even if a scenario like this didn't happen. Is that still okay?
Perfect question, Gino. If it's for safety and safety only, not to just be like at work, seeing if they're also at work.
Yeah.
If it's just for safety, to make sure that if anything happens, hey, you're going out of the country, you're going to go on a girl's trip, like I want your location in case something happens. It's just a safety thing. And I think it's a very wise idea to kind of have that option to track your stuff. I mean, it's preventive maintenance. That's really what it is. And that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to do his job as a protector here. Now, what I did notice, and I haven't breached on this yet, was you two have been pretty much inseparable. So he's seen you almost every day. You guys see each other for sure on the weekends and pretty much every single night. So he's very used to a routine where he's able to kind of keep his eye on you in a way. You're able to also. The same thing. You know, you just get used to these routines and safety isn't an issue. You're constantly checking in. And when something like this happens, your phone dies, you go silent at night after a girl's night, like show just a little bit of empathy to your partner. And I would say this if the genders were reversed here. If a guy's phone died at night, ladies, you have every right to be concerned for his safety. Things happen. But I would really look at this as him just trying to do his job as a man and protecting you, and being upset that maybe you're upset more about the level of intensity that he is showing the concern and not so much the concern itself. Yeah. Try to look a little bit past the energy in which he's bringing to it and just look at what it is that he's trying to fix. He's trying to make sure that you're safe. And I don't think any healthy woman would disagree or say, no, your man should never know where you are or anything like that. And like, if you're that hyper independent, you don't need to be in a relationship, because any man that's willing to be in a relationship with you is going to do what is necessary to protect you. And ladies, that's one of men's greatest tools, is our ability to protect. So don't get mad at him for trying to do that.
Right. If anything, it's a communication opportunity for them to talk about maybe the way that he could express his anger, or if he was upset, it's an opportunity to talk about, like, well, you came at me a little hot, but I understand.
Sure.
And they can get into it that way.
Yeah, I agree completely.
As we always say, it comes back to that communication. Excellent. Thank you, Anonymous, for writing in. Thank you, Brock, of course, for the advice. If you have a question for Brock that you would like us to tackle, send in that email. That's Gino, Gino, at WDODradio.com. And, of course, check out Brock. You can follow him on social media and go to BrockOlsen.com on everything that he offers. Brock, appreciate the advice. We'll talk to you next week.
Sounds good, Gino. Thank you.